call this meeting to order. Have a roll call, please.
Yes, Chairman Prather.
Here.
Commissioner Coleman.
Here.
Commissioner Cordes.
Here.
Commissioner Fortney.
Here.
Commissioner Long. Absent. Commissioner Newton.
Here.
Commissioner Woods. Absent. Ex officio Paget.
Here.
And ex officio Gidley. Absent. All right, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. No public comments?
No public comments.
Okay. Approval of minutes from October 19th. Has everyone had a chance to look at those?
We actually did not make a motion on this.
That's right.
Commissioner Coleman was the only one who was present. Justin Fortney was in
Uh-oh.
the meeting, but not as as the role. So we are not going to be able to make a motion on those, unfortunately. Actually, if I do the math correctly, we might never make a motion to approve those minutes. Well, I guess if Commissioner Woods and Commissioner Long were here, then we could eventually, but I think we're going to have to bypass those for
Pass
tonight.
on those, do those next time, I guess?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess we'll go forward without that. Okay, so we have discussion. Item number 4, discussion of roles, responsibility, and rules of the CBB
All
board.
right. So, looking around, we've got, of course, 2 new faces. Justin Fortney was also reappointed, but Commissioner Coleman was not actually a part of our first initial meeting whenever this board was established, and so I thought it would be a good time for us to go over kind of the rules of being a CVB board commissioner and a member of public office. You get to focus on exciting things like Open Meetings Act and quorums and making sure that you don't talk to more than 2 your other friends on this board at a time without violating Open Meetings Act. And so just be aware of those kinds of things for the new commissioners. I know that you got those in your packets, and I don't know that you ever got one, but I will make sure that you have an Open Meetings Act rundown here soon. This board is largely responsible for monitoring the practices of how money collected to promote tourism through hotel motel tax collections is carried out. It is expected that this board make recommendations, but not vote to set policy. This is a 7-member board. Anyone appointed from here on out is appointed to a 3-year term. The original board members are still varied. That way we didn't have to come back every 3 years and appoint 7 new faces. We could have the opportunity to get new faces in periodically. So I believe Commissioner Coleman will be on the chopping block the next time, along with
Get your campaign ready then.
yeah.
Wow.
Along with Chairman Prather and Commissioner Woods. James Long was the only one selected in the first initial round to serve a 3-year term. So, but everyone from here on out will be appointed to a 3-year term. 2 members of the Guthrie City Council join us as ex officios. That is Councilman Paget and Mayor Gitling. Your chairman for FY16 is Miss Debbie Prather, the owner of the Stables and Tap Room, and a business owner in town for 28 years now.
December 10th, it'd be 28 years.
28 years. Her role as chairman is to lead meetings and present progress to the city council. We haven't done a progress report to city council in a few months, but I know that's been largely because of all the changes in new faces here, along with new faces on the city council as well. But we look forward to having those progress reports pop up again soon. I'll get into it. Again, I mentioned earlier, Open Meetings Act, avoid a quorum, and that means the only time that we can have more than 4 members in a conversation is in this meeting or a special, especially held meeting where we post an agenda 48 hours in advance. That means social media, that means in person, even talking on the phone. One thing I want to, this has come up in another board recently. We also got to be afraid of daisy chaining, and that is basically 1 member going to more than 2 other members separately and having the same conversation, talking about strategy and planning and how we're going to vote and those kinds of things. And so just be very careful of that. Lori and I staff members can always assist with those conversations that you feel might need a little bit of input before the CVP meeting. We're always more than willing to do that for you, so just let us know how we can help. This board established 2 different subcommittees. There's an advertising subcommittee, and that was formed to consult on our branding and RFP process. Our RFP resulted in an advertising contract with a team called Staple Gun out of Oklahoma City. That contract will expire in March. And of course, we will look to strategize for that in early spring of how we respond to that contract expiring. This subcommittee is not expected to provide insight on ad necessarily, but again, helped with the branding, the RFP process, those kinds of things. Kind of how I equate it, the advertising team wouldn't be asked to put together an ad, just like the next subcommittee that we talk about, the special event subcommittee, wouldn't be asked to put on their own special event or festival in town. Of course, that brings me right to the next point. Special event subcommittee. This committee makes an annual recommendation to the board and hears new requests for special event assistance as they're submitted to city staff. This subcommittee provides insight in which events are funded. Again, not expected to put on new events. Kind of the most obvious point, and I'll close out here with the roles and responsibilities before we can open it up for questions. Meetings are held on the 3rd Monday of the month, barring any kind of holiday or anything, at 5:30. Commissioner Long and I actually talked about moving the meetings downstairs to the council chambers where most other boards and commissions are actually held. Didn't know if that would provide a little bit more formality and what the committee would think about that, but that might be something that we test out. We can always improvise. We can always try something out and not necessarily marry ourselves to it, but just kick it around and see if we like it. So, any questions on roles, responsibilities, or rules right now? For the new members, also in the back of your packet, you'll actually see how the CVB is funded, and that's through the hotel motel tax ballot that was done in fill in the blank.
98.
98, okay. I always want to say 89 or 94, so neither one. Any other questions right now?
Are we free to talk?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. On that Open Records Act, Open Meetings Act, it's really tricky. Y'all are probably part of boards anyway, but I've just like crossed the line almost a couple of times, just so easily, just by talking to so-and-so or talking to so-and-so or inviting so-and-so to a block party. Something as simple as that. And I'm still kind of not sure how we go about attending city functions and, our events.
It's my understanding that if you're in a function together and you're not discussing anything to do with your board, then you can be in a meeting with everybody, or not a meeting, a function. It can't be termed a meeting.
Good, because I'm still kind of
Because we
confused
have to
about
be able
that.
to interact as friends or as
Right.
people that belong to the community.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good, because I'm still questionable on certain things. What if there's 4 people at the party and they're the first ones there and we're all board members? Can we not talk, and
Break up
so-
into groups. It's the
Yeah.
easiest thing in the world. You'll see city council strategically in between workshops and city council meetings ending at 6:30 and starting at 7. They'll just kind of migrate into small little pods here and there, or one of them will go read the agenda just to kind of avoid it. But it's all, if you ever have a question on it, again, reach out to us and we're more than willing to help.
But neither you nor Lori are
Count.
part of that board.
Correct. We can talk to anything. We can talk about anything for a long time. So,
Actually, I can too, can't I?
as ex officio, you can.
There you go.
How about you?
Yeah.
You're the chamber.
You never get to take off that hat though.
Yeah.
You never get to take off the hat of CVB commissioner.
Yeah.
So, all right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, thoughts?
Do y'all understand how the hotel motel tax is funded? I mean, I saw that it's part of the sales tax, or the hotel motel tax, or how the CDB's funded. And part of that goes to the parks, and then part of it comes here. And so when you hear us say heads in beds, it's so important to always consider events and different things that are going to put heads in the beds, build motel rooms. And a lot of times when people like want us to help them or do certain things, we always have to take that in consideration. If it's not something that's going to directly help with the tourism efforts in Guthrie, especially the hotels, then we have to really think about that.
And that's what we have to take into consideration in our advertising. You know, if we're going to do one shot, you know, one full page ad, which we'll get into this a little bit later on, you know, how can we get the most bang out of that buck and just say, here are 8 different events that you can come to Guthrie for and spend a weekend over the course of 4 months or a year or something like that. So that's kind of what we focus on, is driving people to our hotel motels. All right.
Okay, all right, is that it on that, Cody?
Yep.
And then the possible action concerning the subcommittees?
Yeah, of course, advertising subcommittee is down. The members that were on that were Debbie Prather, Scott Haas, and Stacy Staten. So Debbie Prather is the only one that is actually still on there, and that means the special event subcommittee. Justin, I think that your role would kind of have to be fallen back off until you're reappointed to the special event subcommittee. But I just didn't, I wanted to open it up, say, you know, is it something that we're still interested in? Again, the advertising, because the branding has been done and the RFP has been taken care of, there's not a whole lot that falls into that right now as far as responsibilities. Special events, we've planned for the year. The last time that we really talked about how we manage these requests that are coming in is that the special events subcommittee would actually present everything to the board as a recommendation. And so I don't know if there is a need to still have those subcommittees, but I just kind of wanted to open it up for discussion. And if there is a need, then I think that we probably need to look into appointing some people to those roles.
I guess that kind of depends on where we are on our contracts. And I know, like you said, the step gun is up in March, so we'll be looking at something or deciding to go with something or not go with something, we don't know.
Right.
So that's
And
something.
so we, you know, can obviously have a committee to discuss, you know, different options there. If we want to have a small group of this committee, a small group in the special event or the advertising subcommittee make a recommendation to the board as a whole on whether or not to move forward with another contract or seek to renew the staple gun contract, or we can have a discussion at this table on the strengths and weaknesses of all of those options as well.
It's probably something we can hold off until
Okay.
the next meeting or whatever, so.
Okay.
Okay, move on to item number 6, discussion concerning our advertising plan.
Right. Before you have a spreadsheet that is laid out next to your folders and agendas and maps. Just a breakdown. This is an item that was discussed last month. We wanted to break it down and give you a hard copy once everything got a little bit more formalized. I'll just kind of go the first 4 items that you see, including this land, Arc Life, Texmo, and Mizzou Life. Those are all, of course, abbreviations. Those are 4 hard copy pieces that we would be placing ads in. Traditional regional magazines, destination magazines, those kind of things. The next item is a billboard setup. We have had a little bit of a change up in this, in the fact that we were planning to use an outfit through our Frontier Country Marketing Association membership. After meeting with them, they actually can't hit some of the same areas that we were looking at. We were kind of looking at I-35 southbound on the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. Their their boundaries don't go up that far north. And so we're going to have to break out of our frontier country. I got a couple quotes today that matched exactly the same quotes that we were going to use for their cooperative buying anyways. And so the money is probably going to still be there, be the same as far as a dollar figure annually. But it's just a different outfit than what we were planning to go with last month at this time. So again, setup costs for that billboard, those are typical one-time fees depending on how frequently we change out those ads. If we change the design, it will have to be a setup. If we keep going with the same design but just kind of refresh the wraps, they're waiving those fees for us. Promotional. Sorry.
You know what size it is?
Not yet. We're working with Crosslands and I can't remember the second one that actually provided a quote today. Crosslands is supposed to be giving us a call back, but we're still trying to determine those sizes. Again, we're targeting 35 southbound, trying to say, you know, you're only 75 minutes to Guthrie or those kinds of things. Promotional materials, items like maps. We've certainly learned a lot in the 1 year that we've been managing CVB. We went with something a little bit more sleek and modern on the first round, and we saw everyone going for the more traditional maps. And so we put a little bit of our new take on this, new branding, of course, utilize some photography and design that we had done through another contract that we had with This Land Press, who is one of the hard copy magazines that we're using, and put together what I think is a really sleek piece. We didn't care about, you know, if there were what they call dead space. You know, sometimes some of those advertisers will really say, no, you have to have everything filled, and kind of the new modern approach is, no, you can have some space on there just for creativity or people to take notes or those kinds of things. So, but I'm really happy to see this. We worked again with our Frontier Country Marketing Association membership on that, and I think everyone involved did a very good job. So, very pleased with the price point that we got all these for, and I think that seeing these back in the stores is going to be a good surprise for a lot of our merchants downtown as well. So
A lot of people ask them.
a lot. Art Aguirre, who owns 2 different stores downtown, goes through about a box every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's very excited to see these and get a whole new supply back. So it really is. It has a lot of different information, annual events and maps, of course. Scott Haas used to refer to it as the pirate map, so I'm glad to see the map was back in play here. So
On the dead space, are you saying that we're not gonna fill that with anything, or are we saying we're being creative?
There was a photograph behind those empty spaces originally, and when it went to print, the photograph was too dark, and it obscured some of the lettering. So we're going to see if we can put it back in there.
For the next round, or?
Yes,
Okay.
and it might fill one of the spots, but those spots were intentional.
Yeah, but intentional with the background, supposedly.
Well, yeah, there was something there.
Yeah.
give you several different things to actually experience Guthrie through that. And then promotional materials again. You've seen our folders right here. We've got some cups for everyone in the back. If you have a need to take maps, please, we've got a whole box back there. Hand them out to everyone you know. Anyone that you've never seen in town, just keep an extra one in your binder or whatever you have, and feel free to share them as much as you can. Promotional materials continued. Probably we've been looking at kind of doing some local branding efforts, even though we're talking about hotel motel stays, but getting more of the community familiar with this Guthrie Offbeat Oklahoma brand. We've been targeting heavily on restaurants, trying to get some things that all of our waiters and waitresses in town will be able to familiarize tourists with. And so those kind of things. And this also gives us a little bit, just in promotional materials, a little bit of room for those unexpected items that might come up that we think are good opportunities for us to place ads in as well. Downtown beautification, if we need to, throw some money at revamping our street poles or our banners or everything like that, I think that would be a very viable option to spend this promotional materials money as well.
On that hashtag Offbeat Oklahoma, have y'all been able to kind of see if people are looking for that hashtag, or is anybody else using that outside of
Yeah,
Guthrie?
actually we are. We're seeing it a lot with not tourists necessarily, but people outside of City Hall, but still within the community as well. And so I think that branding, that local branding, is starting to pick up a little bit, and I just think that it's going to continue to take more time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So is there any thoughts about being more intentional with the campaign of the hashtag?
Yeah,
we even talked about
absolutely,
that? Okay.
Absolutely.
Will that be something Staple Gun does, or will it be something at this table that we discuss?
I think it's
something you all do.
I think it's going to be kind of a hybrid of a lot of different options. If you see someone that's using a hashtag really, really effectively, we obviously want to steal that strategy. We're all about manipulating things and just making them ours as best we can. Staple Gun might have some help whenever they are placing our ads for us, those kind of things. And that brings me to the next option of social media. We are doing extremely well on our target marketing on social media. We're only on Facebook. We're only buying ads on Facebook right now, but this really diversifies our advertising efforts between static billboards, magazine articles that we're going to be featured in, and social media. We're covering a lot of different genres of media on this, and so I think that that's something that Lori and I are pretty proud of.
Are you thinking about going outside of Facebook, or are you just going to stay there? Facebook's kind of the king right now.
Right now, the purchased ads on Facebook are actually more effective than they are on Twitter or Instagram. Instagram's very, very new into launching their sponsored post. Twitter's algorithm is very, very complex and very interesting, and I don't think that it has been able to prove the same cost per click measures that Facebook has. So we've typically in the last 4 or 5 months spent about $1,500 on sponsored posts. The last month that resulted in about 160,000 impressions on social media. That's a phenomenal reach for what we're paying. The algorithms will keep getting better as Staple Gun learns more and more about our demographics that are clicking on those types of carousel ads and everything like that. I hope you've all seen the carousel ads. I think that they're really, really well done.
I know you showed me that earlier, but did it also show the zip codes, like where that reaches, like where are those people at that are seeing it, like those impressions?
Staple Gun has that. I don't have that on my end right now, but they actually have been drawing kind of a map around where specifically they want to target, and it's been kind of South Metro and just those places that can reach hotel, motel night stays here. But I don't know that.
The reason why I ask is I see the Facebook, like, comes a lot on my feed, but I'm hoping that they're not targeting 73044.
Right. I
hope
thought
I'm
the
just
same
getting
thing.
it because it's local and they're not. I haven't looked to see if it said sponsored on mine or not, but it's going to tell you it's a sponsored ad,
Yeah.
no matter what. So I'm hoping they're not.
They're not targeting.
ours
I can
to
tell
do
you that they're not targeting 73044. We've made that abundantly clear. They know just as much as, I mean, these are the people that we're paying for advertising. They know that our ultimate goal is to increase overnight stays. So they take that into consideration whenever they are placing.
What age group? What age are y'all targeting?
Right now, they're targeting 40 to 52, I believe. Spending power.
One more year until I get spending power. It's exciting.
Traditional spending power.
Yeah.
Your cost savings with your bike and
Right.
They're not targeting you.
You've already got that disposable income.
Sure.
There you go.
That does seem like a pretty narrow age range, though, 40 to 52.
I think that's just kind of what we've seen as far as demographics in the Oklahoma City metro that have proven as far as the swipes on the Visa cards and everything like that.
Okay. Now, are y'all just doing one? Are y'all doing just one age group? I mean, like, do y'all not have? Do y'all have a?
No, that
53
is for our bell curve.
Yeah.
That is our peak. So God, this brings me back to statistics. I'm gonna need some help.
I'm not
I hate
Sorry.
statistics.
The 18, I thought it started
Someone
at
bail me out
18
here.
to like
Come on.
60,
Um,
60 something, 5 or
the
something.
standard deviation on both sides, left and right, are, on the left side, I guess it would be your 18 to 35. Your right side would be 53 to 70, whatever it is, and they can break those down.
So yeah, we're breaking it down. That's how we.
But that's our bell curve right there.
Okay. Does Facebook show how we can target if those people are even clicking on it? I mean, I understand the impressions and the views, but is there some way that we can target if people are clicking on those things, or?
We have another, what James was talking about earlier when I showed him, we can show the impressions that we've had, and then it also says our click-through rate as well. Obviously, that's not going to be as high as total impressions, but that's kind of the name of the game on sponsored posts. Have as many impressions as you possibly can so that you can try and increase those click-throughs marginally. I'm really happy that I remember standard deviation. I'm just looking for the terminology, really.
On the social media, this 12 frequency 12. Is that for the what is that?
You'll see the charge on the top of the column next to that on the left side. $1,500. We do that $1,500 12 times.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Is that 12?
every month we're
Okay.
spending $1,500.
Okay.
I made a note on there for you. Are you in charge of that?
I have a question.
Okay.
On the print publications, those first four, do you know what their circulation is?
I don't have those in front of me right now.
I'd like to know that.
Okay, we can get you that.
Is this a budget or is this a committed funds or what are we looking at?
This is a
here?
plan.
Plan.
This is a plan.
Okay.
If, again, with promotional materials, with that being so large, if we need to, move some things over there to kind of justify, hey, Texas Monthly saying we bought one full page ad, they'll give us another discounted rate on another full page ad if we do it. We want to take advantage of that if presented the opportunity.
The first four though, are those ads that have already run, are those planned?
No, those are planned ads. Texas Monthly, we're going to hit that one in February. Arkansas, Missouri Life, I believe those are from April till July. We're targeting those. I think that we might be skipping 1 month on both of those. And then this land, we're actually going to be, they only do a quarterly ad now. So we're going to be in every single one of them, but they only go quarterly.
Do you know when those carousels go through? I'm trying to see if I can find it. Does it do the hashtag Offbeat Oklahoma? Because there's actually only 6 posts on Facebook when you search hashtag Offbeat Oklahoma. I mean, I know it's
I don't
stated in there,
know.
but do they
I don't know
hashtag
if they
it?
are using it on the carousel ads.
They probably should. That would give us even.
It would.
It'd be great if they would put it on the picture. I think if they could have done
Well,
that.
they need
Right.
not only in the picture, but if they would put it in there so it's searchable through Facebook.
Well, no, I'm saying so people can begin to see it. I know, I understand what you're saying, but to give people to really start campaigning the hashtag, even put individuals, because when I see them, I don't even see the whole post. I just see the pictures. And so if I just saw the pictures with the hashtag.
We actually, we're planning to, in the next few days to kind of go into a more seasonal holiday themed carousel ad approach, promoting our territorial Christmas, the Pollards annual show that they do, the Victorian walk, those kinds of, all of our holiday themes. So we are on the very, very back end of this strategy session right now. So we're going to be looking to implement all of those. We'll start using the hashtag in the next round very, very soon, and we'll have that conversation. I know that we were supposed to talk Thursday, but we never were able to get a hold of them. But we're going to start adding that. I'll make sure that that's taken care of.
And so this next round is specifically for the holidays?
It is. We're going to run November 23rd 23rd, November 27th to December 23rd, specifically holidays.
Why do we wait so late?
That's true.
Just because we're doing our traditional ads right now. Our
Our
the
first
shop
event
Guthrie
is-
here, Guthrie, we've been running that up until this point.
Okay.
So we're just doing.
I would
more
just think
Someone
going
like
forward,
plans.
future, I mean, we're seeing holiday ads for retail and other things
Mhm.
already. I would think after Halloween, move it,
Okay,
in my opinion.
we'll certainly look into that.
Yeah, because it doesn't give them much time to plan if they happen to see it
Right.
on the 27th, and our first event's the 28th.
I mean, because when's Shop Small Saturday? What's the date of that?
29.
I think you'd want it
28th.
well before then.
28th is Saturday, and 28th is opening night too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think we're just lagging just a little bit.
Okay.
Going forward, I would bump that up.
We'll get that a little bit earlier next year then. Sorry, there was one more point that I was gonna make. Just to point out kind of the obvious, we stopped doing the seasonal ads on December 23rd just because that's the last night of Pollard. The other territorial Christmas events have ended right there, and we're gonna pick back up on our more traditional ads. Maybe even start promoting the spring events, especially at Lazy E, because the spring is kind of Lazy E's biggest season as far as what they bring in from out of town. So maybe look to start promoting Lazy E a little bit kind of specifically in those carousel ads moving forward right after that. Go to
Have you
more of
met
a-
with the new guy from Lacey?
Not the new guy, we met with
Yes.
Jennifer, who is kind of the marketing side of Robert Simpson's former position with Lazy E. We met with her last week, and they're actually doing a lot of good partnerships on the hard copy pieces because they were taking the initiative to place the ads. They're saying that they would be more than happy to help out putting the media for us together.
Yeah, I think he's pretty busy.
I think the gentleman will be at the Chamber Coffee on Wednesday, if I remember right, and he's more the special event side of Robert's former position.
So you said they're gonna cover like design costs for those?
They're gonna design it together, in-house. Part of I think part of why she was recruited was because she has owned a media company previously, and so she does design on her own. And they said that they'd be more than happy to put that together for us.
Okay. Anything else? The advertising plan, not anything else, okay? Discussion of future items.
For our new members, this is where board members request items for future agendas. If you request an item, I can probably either tell you, yes, we'll get it on there, or I can say, hey, I have information for you. Let's talk after this, but I can't just say, Hetty wants to talk about the Lazy E event for this. I'm gonna dedicate 5 minutes because it's not actually on the agenda, but this is a good time for you to request items to see on the December, January, February agendas.
Okay. So you want us to suggest those now, items?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say that maybe we ought to talk about, by at least February, about the advertising the staple gun, and if we're gonna look for another advertising company and what direction we need to go there. You know, we really had a sense of confidence when we had them, so I think that, you know, to have someone like that is good, and that we have confidence in, I think that boosts us up, and
Then in December, I might.
I think that's great. I think we loved what they showed us. They come out with all kinds
That's
of
what I'm
frills.
saying.
But they didn't but those frills weren't within our budget. So I think it was a little misleading that we thought, oh, we could get this promo, we could do these. And then it's like, oh, we can't do any of that.
we might consider
So-
going to a smaller scale, somebody even locally.
We can
or
get it on the
something.
agenda for an upcoming
Okay.
one.
They are a big scale, I mean, big scale company, and they had some turnover there, so that kind of like just things up.
And then I have a note to get Kathy the publication cycle on, the publication numbers on all of our hard copy ads that we're doing as well.
So can we get the app on the agenda? Like,
Mhm.
what are we gonna do? When are we gonna get it done?
And are we gonna talk about doing any more advertising like with the Gazette or anything like that up in the future? Because, you know, they're stopping delivery to Guthrie. And we're not gonna be able to get the Gazette in Guthrie anymore, and
Why is that? Do you know? I mean,
we're
Not enough circulation?
Not
Did have
enough.
enough people picking them up.
Some of the places
That's
just don't
something,
have.
that's something that we might be able to talk about more one-on-one or outside, and just kind of share with you our strategy after meeting with
Okay.
their area reps.
One other item I'll place
That's
on
it.
your guys' future agenda is I have a meeting tomorrow with Oklahoma State University, and we're gonna take a look at conducting a study regarding tourism in Guthrie, who comes, when they come, where they're coming for, how long they're staying, all those types of things. So I have a meeting tomorrow morning along with Cody and Lori to kind of kick that off. So we'll come back and
With
get you
who?
guys updated.
What school?
Oklahoma State University. They traditionally do retail studies for cities, and they have that kind of down to an art form now. But since we have another funding source for our CVB, I want us to have as much information as possible in order to make the decisions going forward. Like I said, based upon who's coming, when they're coming, why they're coming, how long they're coming for. So we're going to try to find out all that information over the upcoming year. Then, you know, kind of my goal as a city manager is to, while we're conducting that study, to make Guthrie as visitor friendly as possible, and we'll try to come up with some ideas. And I know that we've been kicking them around for the last couple months, but hopefully we'll kind of formulate some ideas and see if we can't kick some stuff out on the street corner for people to start taking advantage of when they are here, to start boosting up our social media presence. And I think we got some pretty good ideas on that, so we'll kind of bring that back for you too.
Is there any opportunity for any kind of joint things with OSU? Or, I mean, I know this is more analytical stuff that you're talking about, I guess, than the marketers probably, but have we considered doing any joint marketing with OSU to?
Quite possibly. So, I mean, there's whatever ideas that you guys have, throw it out there. We
do
don't
a
shoot
little-
anything down.
We do a little bit of collaboration with the Stillwater CVB right now.
Okay.
She's kind of
We also need a calendar of events for this coming year, like when do we want block parties or outdoor events happening?
She's gone now.
We need to nail those dates down so that we
We
can
do.
push them.
What is that, James?
And we also need
Outdoor
to
events,
think
block
of-
parties, or concerts, or whatever we want to call them. Whether it's Make Guthrie Weird, whether it's Apothecary Nights, or we come up with a new name, I don't care. It's just we need to know when they are and what is it going to be so we can push that.
Get on all the calendar of events, not just ours. You know,
Well,
get on-
absolutely. And that's another thing, just having a unified calendar somewhere.
Patty and I are working on that right now.
Yep.
So,
And then I'm thinking about the Guthrie logo. I think we need to talk about ways to put that around town, either whether it's on the bill, what are they called, the little light pole signs. And, you know, I was thinking about putting one on the corner of the building, just at the back, like by the tap room. And there's a lot of other places in town where it could just kind of pop up, you know, and find maybe one person that can paint them all, and that would get that out there where
Yeah.
people could see it. So maybe think about a plan like that.
We'll go over a local advertising strategy too.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Discussion of future items?
Yes.
Along with some like little stickers to put on the front doors.
Yes.
Those would be nice.
As far as future items, when we're talking about future
Throw that
items,
out
like events on the calendar, can we be more strategic, like when we get a lot of people, like the Make Guthrie Weird block parties, brought in a lot of people, even if it's just our people or whatever it looks like, how do we utilize those people at that time to begin to get them to start thinking, staying overnight or telling their family members about staying over, you know what I'm saying, like pushing some of that from the stage, flyers, having a big booth, you know, those kind of things as well. Just what does that look like in conjunction with that?
Right.
Because whenever we start thinking about these are the dates, now we can start planning that as well. You know what I'm saying? So we can be, because just bringing people and let them sit on the street is great, feels really good. But now how can we utilize that to bring more people to Guthrie or whatever the case may be as far as our mission is?
And I think whatever we can get, I mean, Jill Casilla for the Herd on Herd, I mean, she put a tweet out there, how many extra millions of dollars in sales tax revenue
Yeah.
it generated for just those nights that they did it throughout this last season. So, I mean, yes, our goal is to get more people staying overnight, but to have some substantial sales tax additional revenue,
Well, yeah, so whatever even that looks like. I'm just saying, let's have a game plan when we get those people here, not just to say, hey, let's stay over here, because let's say if it is over here on the, the west side, James, them on the east side, like, can we be more strategic and maybe give them more exposure to that outside of them just setting up a booth? It'd be great just to get these people to walk the streets, you know, downtown. And so just saying we be real strategic and thinking that through. And you're smart enough to, I'm just throwing it out there. You figure it out. I'm just.
And consistency too, if we could do something like, the third Thursday of every month, or.
Yeah.
oh, it is definitely.
Yeah,
needs
that is one of the big secrets to the Herd on Herd, I believe, that it's the third Saturday of the month, and it consistently was every third Saturday of the month. You didn't have to look at a calendar.
And I think regardless of what's coming up, we just do it. You know, I think this year we talked about whether there's some other events in conjunction with that.
Well, I don't think we go head to head with Herd on Herd or head to head with the food truck.
No, I'm saying like if there's other events in Guthrie.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we just make that happen.
We could get some way too for all the businesses to participate in the open lane, of course. That would ideally be awesome if we could do that.
Does somebody from this board visit with the retailers? Don't they have meetings?
Lori's
Well,
typically present at the,
Yeah,
And we just gotta do better. I think we just do a better job of making sure that.
of course, they're helped by him, so that helps.
I think moving
he gets
forward,
I
think we'll be good.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, all right, staff comments?
You got anything?
Nope.
We're excited to see new faces. And faces.
Did we apply having the new people on?
I'm sorry.
Oh, we already did it.
You missed it.
Don't say
You
anything.
want to apply?
Got my hot man here, my hot man's here.
I'm really happy to have our new board members and
Yeah.
return one.
Yes. Certainly.
Glad
Thank
this.
you. I mean,
Glad y'all wanted to join us.
I'm staff representation on 5 different boards, and I know it takes a lot to commit to being a part of some of these circuses, and so I appreciate it.
But it's fun.
That certainly is. It certainly is. But no other
It's gonna
staff
be good.
comments.
Justin's coming back.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
No other staff comments. Thank you.
He's almost all back, all except for this. He left that
Is she
behind.
She doesn't have anything.
Okay,
I
board
asked
members,
her.
board comments? I just want to welcome y'all too. We're glad to have you and hope that you have fun with us planning Guthrie's next year of fun. Justin, anything to say? James is gone.
And the only chairman with a gavel
Okay,
is to use it.
meeting adjourned.